Alright, so, hello everybody. I currently work for university, and I work for for the flexible learning department, and we work on the VLE, the virtual learning environment, which students and staff log on to access learning material. And one of my roles is that I basically I like make plugins and additions for. That is quite loud, actually. I make plugins and additions for the VLE, such as buttons and special settings and automating things. And I was recently asked to do a slider, and I figured like a slider to turn something on and off. And my first instinct was to just do it in JavaScript and HTML, and then I thought this would be a good opportunity to try out Canvas, and realised that Canvas seems to have some limitations and some advantages, and I figured that I'd try and teach myself a bit more about it by making a game. So I have not made a game in a long time outside of Minecraft. I have never made it in such a low level language. I'm used to using like libraries and things, so it's going to be very interesting for me. If you are used to making games, this is probably going to be very frustrating for you to watch, so go away now. But I think it could be pretty fun, or at least I'm going to find it at least interesting, both to sort of teach myself a bit more about the underlying aspects of game design, of game programming, and also just to work out what you can do with Canvas. So I've started us off with a little bit of an HTML spreadsheet here. If you go to accidentalgames.com/canvas, I'm actually uploading this live to my site, so you can check it out there if you want to. You can sort of use the console to have a look at the code more clearly if you can't see it too well in the stream/video. So the aim here is I'm going to make a very simple platformer game. The game should be able to support more than one level, and there should be a start point and an end point, and gravity and jumping, stuff like that. Very simple stuff. And it's going to be very interesting to see how to do this, because I'm sure there are many ways to do it, but some of them are going to be better than others, and I have no idea how powerful Canvas is, like what sort of loading speeds and what kind of refresh rates can we get away with. So this is something that we'll sort of find out as we go. So something that I think is going to happen here is that the way that we set up the underlying shape of this is going to affect how everything else builds up afterwards. So if we do something stupid in our core code, in our core system, it's going to really screw us over later. So I've been sort of thinking on the drive home from work today, I was sort of thinking about how I'd like to do it. And I think I'm going to basically make the level out of cubes. And it's going to be a very simple cube-based level, and your player is going to be a little cube that's a dot in the center of the screen, and the screen is going to move around the dot. And all of the cubes that make up the level are going to be objects. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a game object called game. Do I already have that? No, I don't. Okay, called game. And this is going to contain all the information for the game. And then within this, we're going to create an object called levels, which is going to be an array. Oh, and inside levels, we are going to create level objects. So level. So this is going to be our first level object, and then this would be our level 2 object. I'm just wondering whether I should make the levels an object actually, or an array. For those of you who don't know, arrays are a list of values. So for example, 0, 1, 2, that is an array, so it's a collection of things. And so levels 0 would be 0, and levels 1 would be 1, like the position of it. So you can also put other things inside those instead of numbers, and an object is a name value pair. So instead of having 0, 1, 2, you would have a name, and then a value, and then a name, and then a value, and then another name, and another value kind of thing. So they kind of behave a little differently. I think I'm going to make the levels an array, and I'm going to make this an object. So the level object is going to contain a list of all of the cubes that make up the level. And the cubes are going to need some information. They're going to need a color. They're going to need whether or not they are solid, so whether we bounce off them or not, I think. And they're going to need a coordinate up here, an X and Z coordinate in our grid, and a width and height. So that's everything that we're going to have in here. So this is going to get kind of big, I think. Hopefully it's not going to get too messy. So within our levels, hang on, what am I doing here? Yeah, our levels array has got our first object, and that object, let's give it a name. So this is a name value pair now. Level 1, which we could call, I don't know, the forest or whatever if we wanted to. Then we can have our objects. I don't know what to call it. I want to call it blocks. Tiles. Let's call it tiles. Which is an object of all our tiles, and then we will have an entities object, which we're probably not going to actually use at the moment, but will be used for things like... Energy says, I hope you don't write all cubes by hand. I was planning to write all the cubes by hand, but probably only making very simple levels with like 4 cubes in them. So, because normally I think with this kind of thing, you'd build yourself a level generator, right? And you'd draw it on a grid or whatever, and then the code would turn it into a level for you. So I don't think it's going to be too bad. Hi, Crobhub, welcome to the stream. So entities is going to be empty for now. I wouldn't mind doing some sort of projectile thing at some point, which would be an entity. But for tiles, this is going to be an array, as is entities actually, of tile objects. This is getting kind of crazy, isn't it? So we've got our game object is top level, and we've got our levels array, which is the next level down. Our next level would go down here, so this is level 2, which is currently empty. Let's just put this here. In fact, let's just copy all of that. There we go. So that's our 2 separate levels, and then within that we have our tiles and our entities. So in tiles, it's an array of all of the tiles in the game. So this is going to be a series of name value pairs about the object. So we're going to have our X, which let's put our first tile out. This is a 500 by 500 canvas. So let's put our first X at something like we'll just put it at 200 for now. So that's going to be a name value pair X of 200, and actually, let's make our X 0. That's this corner here this line here is 0, and then so that's the X, Y. Yeah, so that'll put it in the corner, and then our Y is going to be 400. Then our width is going to be 500, and our height is going to be 100. There we go. So we've got some nice values for our first object here. We're going to give it a solidity value, which is going to be a Boolean. So if it's solid, then it means that we will want our character to interact with it. And color, I guess, as well, which I'm going to use the American spelling of color because I'm programming, and in programming, color is always spelt without a U, so I kind of tried to keep standard. So the color is going to be a string, and we're going to go with sort of a light grey, I guess. Okay, cool. So that's our first tile object. and we've got the sort of structure here for our game variable. You'll notice that I'm loading this at the top in the head of the HTML, and then our actual script code is down at the bottom of the HTML. This means that by the time the page loads all of this stuff, this will already have been properly created, I believe. Energy, no. Everything it's going to be a side scroller, not an on-screen game. So we are going to be linking. The player will always be in the center of the screen, and the level will move around them, as it were. So, next step is drawing our shapes. Or actually, I think we need to create some base variables first. So we're going to need the levels x. The levels y. We're going to need... that's probably all we need for now, actually. And I have said that this is going to be a simple game, so we're not going to worry about scaling or zooming or anything like that. I'm going to keep it simple. So we've got our x and our y coordinate positions. Now, when the game is running, we need to obviously have a clock. And with JavaScript, the way you usually do this is you create a variable and set it to set interval, which for some reason is not colored in. Set interval. I had expected that to color in. It might just be my my editor here. So set interval, you give it a function, which will happen. So anything inside these brackets here is going to happen every time this amount of time is taken up. So right now, this is going to run every second. So for example, if we put console.log main in here and save, then I'm going to have messed up here and the screen is going to go blank. As I said earlier, you can use this URL up here, accidentalgames.com/canvas, to watch, and you can see it's now printing main down here, and it's just going up once a second because we've told it to go every 1,000 milliseconds. I'd have no idea what parallax is. Special Builder says, do I intend on using parallax? The answer is no, I guess. I'm probably going to build it pretty much from scratch. I might use jQuery, but that's going to be about it. Special Builder says, all of this took me over a year to learn and Sparks knows it already. I'm making this up as I go along, and I do have experience in programming for several years, if that makes sense. So I'm new to this application of the code, but the code itself is not entirely new to me. So the question is, what frame rate do we want for our game? How often do we want it to run through things? I figure that 60 frames, 50 draws per second is probably fairly sensible, which I guess 1,000 divided by 60 is what we need to do? That doesn't sound right. Is it 60 divided by 1,000? I'm just trying to work out how many... I think what we're looking for is 6. I think 6 milliseconds will give us a frame rate of 20 FPS. Feel free to correct me there. Oops, I just accidentally opened Minecraft. So I think putting this at 6 will give us 60 FPS. We can probably actually test this really easily by logging main every 6 milliseconds and then console.log break and then putting the delay on this one at 1 second, and then the break between the two will tell us how many there are. So we should see a break every 60 mains now. Nope, it's 157, 166, 167, 166. Okay, it doesn't seem very consistent then. It's kind of interesting. Generally seems to be hovering around 166, 167. Which is a much higher frame rate than I think we need, or I'm measuring this wrong. I don't know. I wasn't expecting it to change its value all the time. Turns out having ad block stops leveling up. I didn't even realise I had it active. Okay. I feel like I've done something wrong with this frame rate. 60... There's 1,000 milliseconds in a second. How many milliseconds to get 60 frames per second? I think I've got it wrong. Damn it, maths! See, maths is not my strong point. I'm hoping that somebody will tell me what the correct number is, because I am just stumped now. I'm good at programming to an extent. I'm okay at it, but maths is a real weak point for me. So this is our main function anyway. It's going to be running at whatever this frame rate is. And everything that happens in here is going to be drawn. Now, something interesting with Canvas is it's like drawing. I think you can post links in chat energy. Yes, it's like drawing on a sheet of paper. So say that we draw a circle on the screen. If we wanted to make the circle smaller, we would have to clear the circle by covering it with a white square or a white circle, and then we would have to draw the smaller circle again, because it doesn't refresh itself. So we kind of need to redraw everything that changes each of these loops down here. I'm going to start commenting these a little bit, because I want it to be a bit more understandable both to myself and to you guys. So our main interval runs 60 times a second and processes game. Okay, so apparently our frame rate is supposed to be 16.666 recurring. So I'm just going to set it to 17, I guess, which will be the closest. Just going to refresh this. What? It doesn't appear to be... Oh, okay, I got rid of the console.log. Fair enough. So that gets us to about 60 frames per second, which is nice. So we need to each of these iterations... Oh, we need a level variable. And for now, I'm going to set this to 0. Later on, we'll be able to use that to decide which level we're rendering. So if level equals 1... if level is greater than 0, because we can use level 0 as like a start screen kind of thing. Okay, so if the level is greater than 0, which it is, we're going to set it to 1. We are going to also create a level object, and we're going to take the relevant level object from in here and put it in here, so we can just access it and reference it like that. So we are going to go level equals, and then we're going to go game.levels, and then we're going to reference it by level number. So that should put the level that we're referencing from in here. So if we just console.log level, then we should see the entire structure of the level down in our console down here. Except that it hasn't printed anything. Game.levels level number. I want to read log game. So there's our object. Must have screwed up somewhere, I think. Energy says, boy, do I feel like I'm spamming. To erase a canvas completely, you can reset the height. Canvas.height plus equals 0. Ah, interesting. I was going to just draw a square over it. See, this is the sort of thing that I'm hoping to learn from this project. Now, why is the game... There doesn't appear to be a level array. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it just hadn't saved yet. I'm an idiot. Okay, so the website hadn't actually received my save yet. That's what was happening there. I feel like so stupid now. So we're going to log. Where were we at here? We're going to log game. We're going to log level, and that should give us all the information about the level. Here we go. So this is our level object. It contains an array of entities, an array of tiles. There's one tile object. Seems pretty good. So we're going to draw our first square. So we are going to get the square coordinates. We're going to have to loop through all of the objects in our level array. So level dot tiles will give us an array of all tiles. So we should be able to loop through all of the tiles in the level. So we're going to go for I equals 0, I less than level.tiles.length I++. This is just going to add 1 to I each loop and interrogate the relevant tile, or it should do. Just for now, I'm going to do console.log tile. So this is going to tell us how many tiles we have in our level array, and it should print 1. It's difficult to tell what it printed because it's doing it at 60 times a second. We also want to reset our... we'll do that after the drawing. Hi John Pop, welcome to the stream. Okay, so that's going to loop through all of the tiles that need to be drawn for our level. Something we could do to optimize this later is for each tile, work out whether its coordinates mean that it is within the square that we can see on the screen and not bother drawing it if it's off screen. That would be a good way of optimizing this in the future. So we've got oh, I need to look up the canvas command for drawing a square for a second here. Give me a sec, just readjusting some of my windows sizes. I have so many windows open that I can no longer read the tabs. Well, I swear I've already got HTML Canvas open somewhere. Apparently not. Okay. HTML5 Canvas draw square. It's pretty simple, but I had just forgotten the exact code for it, so I'm going to look it up. This is, damn it, this is an advertising website. It's rectangle. So we're going to do G, which is we've applied this canvas element, which we declare here, called game. We've assigned that to the variable G, so we can go G dot rectangle, I believe. Actually, I think we may have to tell it to start drawing first. Something like apparently we also have to give it context. We need to go G equals G dot get context 2D. Apparently. Go with that, which I'm guessing tells it as a 2D canvas. I don't know. Get context 2D. Okay. And then we draw the rectangle by doing G rect, and then we want the x and z. So that's going to be level dot tiles dot x. Oh, level dot tiles I, i.e. the ith instance of our loop, which is being defined here, dot x, level dot tiles I dot z, the width, level dot tiles I dot width. I might have width and height the wrong way around here, and level dot tiles I times, I keep writing times, dot h. We need to set the pen color as well. I think we have to do the begin path thing. G dot begin path G dot why don't I, what's the fill style? It's got information about the pen color for the border here. And then we to draw it, we have to go G dot stroke, which tells it to actually draw the shape. We just need to set the color, which I need to find out how to do that. 1 second. As I said, I'm very new to Canvas, and I have to look up all of these things because I'm not used to them. Paths, transformations, text. Fill style. And we're going to set that to level.tiles I dot color. Alright, let's see what happens. Hopefully we get a square on the screen. It never works the first time, ever. So we are not going to get a square on the screen, but, you know. Yep, uncaught error, g.fillStyle is not a function. Why is it not a function? g.beginPath worked, so it clearly thinks that it's a canvas object. G.fillStyle. What happens if we just ignore this? Will it error? Oh yeah, it errored hard. Okay, right. So now it's not erroring, but it's also not drawing anything because there's no... the camera element is this, the game X and Z energy. Why is the fill style screwing up? Very strange. Oh, okay. I see why. It's a value like this. There we go. Doesn't take arguments. Let's try that again. No. So what's the problem? Let's try printing one of these values to see what the value is, to check that we are actually doing what we want. Missing a bracket after argument list? Oh. There we go. Undefined. Okay, so we're apparently not reading our array correctly. Tiles? Our array looks like this. Apparently I can't expand that while this is all running. Let me get rid of this. Level dot tiles. Object. Let's relog level.tiles 0. It's an empty object. What? Tiles 1. What? I must be doing something stupid here. Level.tiles gives us an object. Tiles is an array. Level.tiles is being listed as an object? Tile is an array. This is weird. Okay. Level.tiles. Is apparently an object. For no apparent reason. There must be an inapparent reason. So our level is an object. It contains an array called tiles. Level. There's an array called entities. There's a name value. What happens if we do this? Log level.name. Yeah, that works. Level.tiles. Oh, our level is 2. Ah, because yeah, it's because it's 0 based. Our level level 1 is actually level 2 because the first value is 0. So if we set that to 0, all our problems will be solved. No, instead it just errors really hard. Okay. That's always nice. Oh, it's because our level number has to be greater than -1 then. We'll set that to -1. Okay, so now it's not drawing it and not erroring. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Let's try drawing, and level.tiles is still showing up as an object. Level.tiles 0. .x. Java says, have I ever used Visual Studio /Basic? Yes, part of my job is writing spreadsheet automation using Excel VBA. It's not a very nice language. So apparently level.tiles 0.x is 0, which is correct. Let's try the Z. Should be 400. Undefined. Oh, I put Y here, that's why. Okay. We got a square! Yay! It's apparently white. But we're getting there. Now the interesting thing is, actually what we want to do is we want to draw this rectangle at x plus and y plus. See, I'm getting my x and y and x and z confused here. I probably shouldn't do this because I'm used to working in 3D Minecraft, so this is actually y, x and y. So I'm going to change this back to y, which is correct. And this is going to be the game y. In fact, I even put variable y and then put game z. Man. Apparently I've just broken something. X, Y. X. I've broken this. Y 400. X plus. Let's just get rid of this a second. Back to how it was. Okay. X plus. Interesting. I'm trying. Oh, there we go. Now it's drawing it. Okay. So let's try y plus here. Will it work? The point is that we can use the x and y values to change where the camera is. So if we refresh this again, we should still have it in the same place. Now, if I change the x to like 20, which means that we've moved across a little bit, then this square should draw in a different place on the screen. There we go, so it's moved over. So when we walk around, when we use the WASD keys, we can change the values of x and y to draw the shapes in different places. So we can use that to change all of that. Okay, so things are going okay so far. Had a few hiccups, but generally looking good. I wonder why the fill style isn't working. Oh, I think I know what I need to do. I think I need to g.fill. Now I think it'll fill it. There we go. Great. And I guess we can get rid of the border by going... Where's the border? Setting. Canvas. Stroke style.
Includes the summer's biggest hits, tropical vibes and throwback faves to keep the party going.
I was hoping I could just set it to like a stroke width of 0 or something. So a stroke width? Or maybe that's what stroke is doing. If I get rid of that and just have fill, maybe it'll just fill it and ignore the stroke. It does! Fantastic. Cool. I thought that was required to tell it to actually draw the shape. Interesting. Okay, so we've drawn our shape. Now, just for safety's sake, let's add another shape. So we can see that it's working differently. So this one's going to be a different colour. We're going to go with a different shade of grey. and our X is going to be, let's make it 300, and our Y is going to be 300. Our width is going to be 200, and our height is going to be 100 again. This should put it in the corner of the screen above the other rectangle, I think. We should see it now drawing two separate squares on the screen. Hooray! Look at that! Awesome. So, there we go. Tile drawing is working. Fantastic. We've made some progress here. Okay, so the next step is going to be... why is it writing I will be streaming shortly down there? I should get rid of that. I'm streaming now. Okay, there we go. So, next step. I should probably bind... Let's draw the player. Let's draw the player. The player needs to be drawn last because he sits in front of everything else, right? So I'm going to... That's our... Let's label this. Draw background tiles. Draw tiles. After that, we're going to draw entities, of which we have none currently, and then we're going to draw player. So for the player, I think I'll draw him. Should I draw him in the loop or call it with a separate function? I think I'll draw it in the loop. So we're literally going to do g.begin path to start a new path. I don't even know if we need that if we're not drawing the border of the shape, actually. I will remove begin path after we do this to see what happens. Then we're going to g.fill style, and our character is literally just going to be a square for now, I think. G.fill style equals, we're going to make him black. And we're going to g.rect, and he's always going to be in the center of the screen. Very simple, as I said. So we're going to set his x to, our width is 500, so the middle is 150. So we're going to set his x to 140, his y to 140, his height to 20, his width to 20. And then g.fill. So we should get a little square in the corner, in the middle of the screen, a little black square. I think we broke something. Oh, I'm getting an FTP error. Let me try saving that again and see if it uploads this time. My FTP might have disconnected. Is my stream still going? Probably. It's probably still going. My upload is stuck at 0%. I'm gonna disconnect from the FTP and reconnect, I guess. That should help. Okay, I think that's working again now. There we go. We don't have a square in the middle of the screen though. Don't know why. Begin path. G.close path at the end. Really? So what's close path for? Hi Crothers, we are making a game in Canvas just to see what happens. subtract the x and y from the tile coordinates, otherwise it's inverted. Good suggestion. I'll do that. Let's have a look. Why is that not drawing a square? Oh, because this is supposed to be a... There we go. That might help. Interesting. So now it is not drawing the background tiles. Only the white square, only the black square. Which also appears to be in completely the wrong place. The width is 500. 500. Oh, it's 250, isn't it? Not 150. What am I doing? I wonder why it stopped drawing the background, though. That's very interesting, and also slightly worrying. Now it's not drawing anything at all. Huh. I wonder why. I guess I can try the close path suggestion. Where's that gone? G.close path. G.close path. I don't know what I changed. I'm gonna undo all of this. Oh, was it changing? Hang on a second. Was that caused by me changing that from a minus to a plus? That's weird. Okay, let's put this back. Okay, that was odd. I feel like that's kind of a bit finicky, that. Like, the first time we tried it didn't work, and then we put it back and it did. If I just change that one to minus and leave the other one as plus and refresh, what happens? No, it's gone. That's weird. Oh. Okay. No, wait, what? I'm just going to leave it as plus for now. Special Builder says as an alternative you can use fill rect instead of rect. I wonder what that's for. Rectangles. Fill rect. Oh, rect creates a rectangle. Fill rect draws a filled rectangle. So instead of using fill and rect, I could go fill rect. That's interesting. Fill. I'm not sure whether I actually need to use close path. Oh, so begin path begins a path or resets the current path. Close path creates a path from the current point back to the starting point. So I guess that lets you close shapes you've drawn and things like that. Subtract the camera X and Y from the tile location. Right now moving the camera right moves the tiles right instead of left. Hi Marigent Jet, welcome to the stream. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to try using parseInt to solve this x minus problem. Okay, it's drawing our background shapes again. Let's do parseInt, which turns this value, which should be an integer anyway, into an integer. it might be happier about subtracting. Nope. Oh, yeah. Isn't that weird? It's like sometimes it doesn't seem to load properly. Now let's try taking the x away and the y away from that value. Now that we are passing it as an integer first, it might be happier. Nope. It really doesn't like that, does it? How odd. We could put the x here. That works. Okay, we're going to have to keep an eye on that then. I'm a bit worried by how oddly that seems to be behaving. Okay, cool. Well, that seems to be working now anyway. Although I'm not sure how it's going to behave with the subtraction on that side. Because 10 minus 1 is 9. 1 minus 10 is minus 9. Okay. This is delving into the realms of mathematics again. Cool. So we've got our player. The next thing we probably want to implement is, shall we do movement next? We could do key binding to movement. So we want let's do left and right movement for now and ignore bounding boxes and things like that. In fact, I'm just going to try getting rid of begin path, because we're not drawing any paths, we're just doing fills. See if it works without begin path, because we might not actually need it after all. I think the stream is really far behind, because people are commenting on things I did quite a while ago. It seems to be working without begin path, so I'm just going to remove it. Like that. So I'm not beginning the path, I'm not closing the path. I'm zen, I'm one with the path. Okay, cool. So, next, key binding. We are going to... Let me think. So, we want to be able to press the A key to move left and the D key to move right. So, I think I need to see how the key binding behaves in JavaScript. So let's go inside our loop. Let's go down here, detect key presses, and we're going to do actually, let's bind it to an element. I think this is how we do it. I don't work with special key bindings very often. So up here, before we start our loop, let's get rid of that log. We don't need it anymore. Assign keybinds. We're gonna use jQuery for this because it's a lot neater. Let me quickly get Google hosted jQuery link. Energy, I'm aware that I'm not refreshing the canvas. I figured I'd wait for a moment because sorry, I was reading while I was trying to talk there. Because there's no need to redraw it yet. I will probably add that in a second. In fact, let's add that now since you bring it up. So let's refresh canvas, which, as you say, is going to be g dot. Oh, right. I've assigned g to be the canvas now, haven't I? So I guess we'll just reference it directly. Dot height plus equals 0. Okay, cool. So it'll be refreshing the canvas each time. In fact, let's just check that it doesn't flicker now we're doing this. Whew, thank goodness. I was really worried that we get like flickering. So let's get our jQuery. Here's jQuery. Kindly hosted by Google. Thank you, Google. We're going to put that up here. Outside the script. There we go. And then down here we can now use jQuery as a reference for our key binding. So we're going to go g dot key dot bind, which is going to apply a what's it called, an event listener, listening for an event to our canvas element, and we're going to put key press as our event type, and when it runs we're going to run this function with this value passed to it. I'm reading this off a sheet, I don't know this off by heart if you thought I did. And then in here energy, the reason I'm currently doing camera minus tile instead of tile minus camera is because it doesn't work the other way around, and I don't know why. I'll look at that again in a second. Wait, so I'm doing camera minus I need to do tile minus camera. Okay, I'm now doing tile minus camera. So that should be all good. Yeah, okay. So I accidentally did it the right way because I thought I was doing it the wrong way, but was too lazy to fix it. Nice. Okay, so within our key press function, we can go if e.keycode equals, that's a capital C, I am looking this up, I don't know this off by heart, and then a number which relates to the key ID. I believe according to the tutorial 13 is enter, so we're going to go console.log enter and just see whether we can see that printing enter when we hit enter in the console. Pressing enter does not appear to be doing anything. Maybe I need to bind it to the body instead of the, or even the document instead of the item. Body is not defined. Apparently this doesn't exist anymore. So I'll reopen it, I guess. Canvas. I think my connection briefly dropped there to the FTP server. 1 second. There we go. So apparently body is not... Oh, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, speech marks. There we go. So hit enter. Yay! So if I hold down enter, it does keep sending the enter after a pause. So I think what we want to do is we want to bind a key up as well. So we need the key codes as well. Let's look up some key codes. Key code for keyboard. Just loading. Okay, so we want W, which is 87. W, nice. And then A is 65. I think there's quite a big delay, and I am reading the chat often, but there is a delay. Right, W fails. Both are failing. Nice. Oh, it's interesting. That's a capital W. Apparently, it only works if I hold Shift. How? It only works if I hold down Shift for the W. How weird is that? Same for A. That's interesting. I haven't put a delay. My stream just has a delay because my internet is so bad. Why is that key code capital only? Like if I turn on my caps lock, I bet this will work fine. Yeah, W-A-A-A-A. How odd is that? So, how do I detect the lowercase version of the key code? This site seems to only care about uppercase key codes. I'm going to look at a couple more websites. W is 87. A is 65. This site agrees it doesn't care about upper or lowercase. This site has no good information. Keyboard event.
BT Mobile gets you online 4G and Wi-Fi.
How weird. Oh, apparently 119 is a lowercase w? Let's try that. The example I found happened to be for W, so let's try that. So if I press W now? Nope, now neither W is working.
To verify, visit bt.com/moreplaces. 4G speeds vary on location, coverage, and demand.
My name is Julian Barrett. I'm here to tell you of a thrilling new
Okay.
sound. Dave Akumbu, Tom Herbert, and Leo Taylor.
List of... Oh, my caps lock is on.
Together they have created a rich and
Is that why it wasn't working?
body of work,
No.
culminating in their new album.
List of
A must
lowercase key
I,
codes.
for one, will be plunging very soon. Oh, I forgot to mention Spotify.
Wow, the delay is huge on the stream. Everything gives me 87. Am I supposed to... What? Why is nowhere allowing the lowercase 87? Apparently it's 87 regardless of whether it's shift or not. This is very strange. Why would it do that? Okay, I don't want to puzzle over that for too long. So we're going to just play with the caps lock for now. Which is very strange. So the key code of 87, we'll just go with that for now because I don't know what's going on. We're going to create some extra key values here. So var key w equals false. And D, I don't think we need S. at least not for now. So those are our keys, and we're going to set it to false or true, depending on whether the key is pressed down or up. So when we let go of the key, it's going to set it to false, and we push down on the key, it's going to set it to true. So key W equals true. Key A equals true. And D is 68. For D. Okay, so that should set the values of these keys presses, and we need a jQuery keybind for key up. Hopefully that is a thing, or maybe we can't do that. jQuery key up event. Hopefully it's just key up. Body. I don't like how separate these two things are going to be now in our code in terms of readability and editability, but there you go. Bind key up. The signature does not accept any arguments. So it doesn't allow us to tell which key was pulled up. jQuery detect which key on key up. Lots of referencing. Key press. So you can't do it with key up, only key press. See, that's a little annoying because we need to tell when they let go of the key to stop the character from moving across the screen. jQuery is a JavaScript library, which is like a relevant. It's a reference. It's a library which lets you do stuff faster and more easily in JavaScript, and I use it a lot. It's very powerful. It automates a lot of the processes for you. So apparently the key up and key down don't have reliable key codes that work for everything. Wow, the delay is huge right now for this stream. Key press. There must be a way to do it because I've seen online games. They exist. Detect specific key release. The other question actually I have is if we hold down W and A at the same time, WA, see, it only listens to one or the other. This might not be a very useful, not a very useful method then if it's only able to kind of track one key press at a time. So maybe there needs to be, we need to do this a different way. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting from this so far. JavaScript. Oh, my caps lock is on again. JavaScript. I might actually stop the stream for a bit to let it catch up, and then we'll start again, and then the delay will be temporarily shortened, I guess. So, yeah, just let me know when I've said goodbye, which is now, and then I'll restart the stream.